Hello guys, we should be live again. Sorry about that. I blue screened. So that's fun. Just wait for you guys to all get back in here. Honestly, this game is an embarrassment, to be honest. It's so ridiculous. Sorry for the silence. I'm trying to work out what's going on, to be honest. I'm just reading through a lot of stuff, seeing what they're doing. Top 10 on soft, other Discord, esports, blah. Okay, so we should be going pretty much anytime soon. We have 20 drivers in the lobby. So, yeah. We be readying up, lads. Come on. Uh, Hopefully, we can get a lobby that works this time. Hopefully, it doesn't end up like one of my league races last weekend where we had to restart the lobby 3 times. That was fun. Oh god, literally one guy hasn't readied up. Sarikia. Nah. Hello guys who are all just joining back and stuff. It's been a bit of a nightmare. So obviously you saw the lobby glitched, and then when I was talking, I blue screened, of all things to happen. So, you know, fun stuff. I'm just gonna quickly. You won't be able to see the screen for a minute. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the party I'm currently in because I think people are about to join unmuted, and you know, we don't want that. So I'm gonna put myself in my own party. I'll start one with this. Hopefully they don't. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. They're still loading. This is worrying. Uh, no, I don't have high hopes for this one. I think it's broken again. Okay. What's everyone saying then? Oh, no. Okay, so they're leaving. Like, please restart games. I can't restart my game because otherwise it'll end the stream. So I won't. I'm gonna exit the multiplayer. This is a nightmare, honestly. Lol, the fan wasn't spinning. See that? P19. The guy in first, by the way, he cheated. I'm not bad. Um, I only did one race as well. I definitely could have gone back and improved that score, but I didn't really have the time. So Terra Racer, oh man, nice. So if you don't know, both Terra Racer and Michalizzi are friends of mine. Well, I say friends, people I know from League Racing, and I was actually in a party with them when I was doing this whole thing. So they got P2 and P3. So I think Terra Racer will get the esports place then. And yeah, here's me down here. Actually, the guy that I was racing against in my lobby was that guy who came P6. So I actually got into a pretty difficult lobby. So yeah, let's join Boomer now. So 17 drivers in here currently. Currently missing Morgan. Who else are we missing? We're missing Sarikia. Not anymore. And there's one more guy we're missing. Oh, I think it's... hold on. Yeah, it's Kenny. Oh no, Kenny's there. Oh, Husam. So everyone's in. Cool. Please work this time. Oh, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna lose it. It's this guy, this game, it really isn't up to standard. So they're just waiting for RDO to make the grid, and then we should be good to go for the third attempt. And they're saying formation lap will be turned off this time round, so that will be better. I'm not going to give up. I find this funny because I've been in the exact situation these drivers have been in. but it is definitely annoying because every time you restart, you know, there's going to be people who start to get annoyed at it. There's going to be people who don't want to keep restarting. They're just going to leave or get frustrated, and then they're going to take that frustration out on turn one, or that they're going to be so out of it because they've just done laps in quali, and now they've had to go through all this before they've done anything else, so they could very well end up messing up pretty early on in this race and causing something big. So I hope for the driver's sake that it's all okay, that they're going to get through turn one fine. You know, no big crashes, no safety cars, hopefully. I don't think they should cancel the race though, because if they cancel it, when's it going to be? It's going to push the whole calendar back 1 week, and we've already had qualifying. So it's got to happen now, but it's one of those things. This game's not good enough in the multiplayer aspect, and it's really shown when stuff like this is happening. So yeah, Cody's get on it really. They need to at least. Please load. Just everyone, just load. Please just be good. Please. There we go. So obviously drivers going to start choosing their setups, making sure they're on the right tyres, because anyone who starts on the wrong tyres will probably be asked to pit at the end of lap 1, if not disqualified. So we don't want anyone disqualified really, so please pick the right tyres, guys. It'll be obviously the top 10 have to pick the tyres that they qualified on. Everyone else will have free choice anyway, but what this does do is it changes the tyre strategy a little bit, because all those laps that you didn't qualify on those tyres gone, all that wear gone. Everyone's starting at 0% wear in this race, so everyone can go up to the optimal lap to pit and it'll be fine. You know, they don't have to worry about tyre management. If they do decide to stretch their stint, then they can do that for longer. They can go longer into the race on the tyres. So really it really changes everything, to be honest, but I think given the strategy here, it might not affect too much. Okay, everyone's loaded. Cool, we have lights. 5 red lights. Sound was a bit desynced, and they're out, and away we go. Everyone's going at the time the lights went out. Nice. Ladamalo with a very good start. He gets up into the lead off the line. Morgan with a poor start. 3 wide between the 2 racing points, and Ishtar there. Ishtar with a very nice start, moves himself up into 4th, tucks behind Polhui, who has not changed position. Polhui now having a look as there's a crash in the background between Basket Emmy. I think it's between the 2 Red Bulls, but look at Ishtar looking down the inside of Tambi trying to go around the outside. He's going to switch to the inside for the next corner. Very tight between these 2. Who's going to back out, coming to the fast right-hander? More people going side by side, and Tambi's off. Did he get damaged? He did not, but he's lost a lot of positions. Hyped slides through with a bit of a lock-up, and a really poor start. Oh! Our championship leader is round, and that is horrible for him. Severe collision with Tammy under the VSC. That was Joe. VSC is deployed just to calm everything down for a second. So I hope Joe's going to have to sub that in the pits, and that is not fair. But Rudy tried getting involved there alongside Tambi, and I don't know who caused the contact, but contact was made, and that put Tambi into the wall. He's lost his front wing, ruined his strategy for this race. He's going to have to pit onto hards. Big shame for him. Sculzy, however, in all this gets up into P4 off the start, so a good start from him. Polhui holding position, just right behind Morgan and Ladamalo there. Ladamalo with a great start, put himself up into the lead of the race, where he's a little bit more used to being compared to where he was last week in Belgium for most of the race. Rudy pits. So he obviously got damage from that collision too. Not good for either of them. Kenny pits, Husam pits, RDO pits, and of course Tambi pits as well. Back to the lead of this race, we have not much going on at the front, to be honest. Joe's probably the closest car to an overtake on the track, but of course 2 tenths now. He's just going to be sat there for most of that, because there's no real chance to overtake until you get to the DRS straight. As Town receives 3 seconds for multiple warnings already. Is someone going to try a lunge into here? Doesn't look like they will. So everyone holds position for now. Joe, let's see how he gains his basket. Emmy gets through on Wilt. Very nice stuff in a very unorthodox place to overtake. Yeah, you can't really overtake here, as Oswaldo says, so it's unfortunate, but I like the track. I think there's definitely opportunities, you know, turn 1, coming out of the chicane's also a good chance. You know, and if you're brave, turn 3, you can really go side by side, maybe through turn 4, if you're trusting the other person enough. So there's definitely places you can overtake. It's not like it's impossible to overtake here, but you definitely have to be brave, and it's certainly not easy. So good stuff here from Joe to be down the inside, but he's going to lose the position after a worse run out of turn 2 compared to Boomer. He's going to try and go around the outside on those softer tyres, and he makes the move stick up into P8 for Joe here on lap 2. So Surikaya pits as well, and Ishtar with 3 seconds for multiple warnings already on lap 2, so that's crazy. You say bring back Adelaide, but Adelaide wasn't that much better, because the only reason it was so good was because it was in the older cards. Yeah, you got to have trust in each other, or just be really brave. But around a track like this, I don't know, if you're brave enough, most of the corners here are an overtaking opportunity. If you're not quite that brave, then you always have turn 1, and of course whatever corner it is after the turn 14. I don't know if it's 14 or 15, because I don't know if it counts. As Joe has dropped a couple of positions, he's round. Coming into the final corner, he has damage, he's hit the wall, then he's reset to track. Don't know what the rules are on reset to track in this league, but he's reset to track. And he's into the pits to repair that damage. Town is also into the pits to get rid of those medium tyres. Joe speeding in the pit lane. Absolute disaster for him here. So it's gone from looking alright to not looking so good very quickly here for Joe. And that is going to drop him way outside the top 10. Down towards where Rudy, Hugh, Sam, Sarakaya, Tambi, RDO and Kenny are. 3 seconds for Basket and Mill. Lap 4, so people are finding it difficult to stay within the track limits at the moment today. That will make a big difference come the end of this race when you have drivers, you know, so close together. All their strategies have played out. They're really close together on track, and whoever's got the least penalties is going to benefit hugely out of that one. Ladamala under a lot of pressure here from Polwy and Morgan. And of course we have DRS coming up in just a couple of corners time, so let's see if Morgan's able to make the move down into turn 1 as they come out of the last corner. Let's see, that DRS flap opens. What's the speed going to be like? Who's using their overtake, I wonder? Ladamala just keeps ahead into turn 1, so I assume he's used a bit of ERS there. Let's see, oh no, and now Morgan's under pressure a bit from Polwy there, so I don't know if he had a bad exit out of turn 2 or what happened, but he's not really had an opportunity there to make a move, and Ishtar all over the back of Skulzy too. This should be a close battle later on in the race as Basket and Mill down the inside of Boomer, and Sarakaya, the other Red Bull, gets past Husam, who's going slowly in, has a damaged front wing, he's into the gravel. Luckily does not spin back into the track there, because that could have been really bad for Town, Tambi and RDO. What's he doing? He's letting everyone through. He's let Kenny through. He's back onto the track. He's going to have to pit for that one. Morgan 3 seconds. That's going to be huge. Polwy 3 seconds and Basket and Mill another 3 seconds. That's going to be huge. Both Polwy and Morgan already have penalties here on lap 5. Husam speeding in the pit lane, another 5 seconds. So that is going to allow Ladamala to just breathe a little bit easier now as Husam retires from the race in the pit lane, because he knows that the cars behind have penalties. As long as he keeps it clean, he has the advantage here in this race. But of course it's a long race ahead of us, another 24 laps, so he's just going to have to do the best he can really, because it would be quite difficult at this track to get no penalties at all. But if anyone could do it, we know Ladamala can. So let's see what he's going to get up to the rest of this race. It's Polwy dropping just off the back of these two now, and Morgan's starting to catch back up to Ladamala at the moment. It's RDO with 3 seconds. Hyped here is just on 3.5 seconds back from Ishtar here. So let's see what he's able to do with that one as the race progresses. Ishtar, he's definitely faster than Skulzy ahead, I'd say, because of he's just able to keep that gap at half a second, which really you're not able to do unless you're at least a little bit faster than the car ahead. So he'll be looking to capitalise out of that one pretty soon. I'm pretty sure that was a corner cut there from the Williams driver, so he'll be stacking up warnings as well. Town is passed by Tambi. Oh, he has a look back though, and he's spun. He's round. Was room left there by Tambi? I don't know, but he wasn't very alongside either, was the Haas driver of Town, as he ghosts luckily for Joe. So I'm sure Tambi will argue that it wasn't really any space for him to have his car in there. I'm sure Town will argue that Tambi shouldn't have turned in on him. We'll have to see what the stewards say about it. And 3 seconds for Kenny, not that it matters, he is last by quite a way as well. As Ishtar getting closer and closer every lap. Another 3 seconds for Basket and Mill. I think he's got the more penalties than anyone else at the moment, as Penn, I'm going to call him from now on, gets 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He is pitting on lap 7, maybe probably for the hard tyre. Okay, so let's see if Polwy's able to keep within that 1 second on Morgan. It doesn't look like he will. No, he's not going to have DRS coming onto the straight. So it's now a 2-horse race between Morgan and Ladamala. I'm sure Morgan will be very happy to finally get the racing point out of his DRS zone, because that just lifts a little bit of pressure off of him, as he knows the car behind isn't going to threaten him into any of these overtaking spaces. Look at them getting very close to the grass there, as close as they can. DRS open, 7/10. Let's see what it is come the end of the straight. already 5 tenths. At the end of the straight braking zone, it's 2.5 tenths between the two drivers. That's how powerful DRS is down the straight. He's gained over half a second. There's hyped pits. What's he going on to? Is it the hard tyre? It looks like he's having front wing change, but he didn't look like he had very much damage, and it is the hard tyre going onto the Renault driver's car. So let's see what he's able to do with those later on in the race. Basket Emil here under a bit of pressure from Boomer. Boomer decides not to go for a move this time round, and really, but he's looking to the outside on those medium tyres. Are the softs finally starting to go off as the mediums the drivers on the mediums having an advantage in this race as it stands? Is he going to look for a move into here? He thinks better of it. Really, I think the next opportunity he's going to have to overtake will be on the run up here, but it's not very usual that you see someone overtake here, because overtaking will just give you an awful run onto the next straight, which will obviously the run down to turn 12, the fast chicane. So it really affects you all the way down to turn 15 if you get a bad run out of there. But look how closely he's following through there. He's basically pushing him through there. He gets 3 seconds for cutting the chicane. That's not going to help him later on in this race. You see, not close enough to do anything there. He's just losing a bit too much time to that dirty air in the chicane. So he needs to really position himself now to make that move on the main straight, if he can. Okay, let's see if he's able to do it here. DRS opens. He's had a bit of a works exit by the look of it. So I don't think he's going to get there. No. But of course, another DRS straight after it. So he's got a second chance now. Let's see if he can get anything done into turn 3. No, he's way too far back. He's just not fast in the right areas by the looks of it to get on the back of that Red Bull where he needs to. But I think at this point he does have less penalties than Basket Emil, so he doesn't have to rush too much to get past the Red Bull as it stands, because the next driver, Sven, is 6.5 seconds up the road after that, which is obviously a lot of time to make up, especially Sven's on the soft tyres. So maybe if the softs are dying as much as people seem to think they are, he can make that ground up fairly quickly. But of course, Sven will be pitting first. We'll be getting the fresher tyre. So really, it's as Ladamala pits for what I'm assuming will be an undercut to try and make sure he keeps ahead of Morgan when the time comes. He will be doing a 2-stop. So yeah. Let's see where he feeds back out. I have a feeling it'll be somewhere near this battle between Basket and Boomer. No, he's behind both of them. So he's going to have to clear a lot of traffic, which is not going to help his race at all. Is he on the hards? I think he's on the hard tyre. Morgan is pushing now. You can see it. He's got 3-second time penalty. Pushing too hard maybe. And once again, Boomer unable to make anything happen down into turn 3. So he's got to sit behind for the best part of another lap before he gets any chances to make another move. And by the time he gets there, I have a feeling he'll be looking backwards for Ladamala, who is rapidly gaining on those fresh hard tyres. All shaping up so far in this race. What do you guys down in the comments think of this? Who do you think's going to win? Let me know, of course. Yeah, look at that. He's already looking on the edge of that DRS zone. Is he going to make it? Not quite. Just outside, about a 10th. So he's going to lose time all the way down the straight, of course, because Morgan now pits. Okay, this is what is important. Morgan and Scoolsy pit. Where is Morgan going to feed back out? He's on the medium tyres. So he's going for a 2-stop unless he thinks he can take those to the end. Another 18 laps he's got to take those mediums. If he wants to get them to the end, it's definitely possible, because he did take the softs 11 laps. And let's see, where is Ladamala going to come out? He's going to come out behind. The overcut has worked here, as Ladamala has not been able to get the pace on those harder tyres. He's fed out behind his rival, but he's got a chance now into turn 3. Is he going to dip this lead? He looks to the outside, squeezed by Morgan there, has a little bit of a lock-up as a result, and he has to stay behind the McLaren, who once those tyres have been warmed up, I'm sure will just shoot away, to be honest. But he does have to negotiate past Boomer before he does any kind of running away with this one. Okay, he's getting very close to the back of Boomer actually. So Kenny, 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. What has he done? What corner has he cut to get that? Let's see what Morgan, is he going to have a bit of a move? He's using his overtake mode, so he wants the move down into turn 15. No, he doesn't get it. Look, he's basically pushing the gearbox of that Alpha Tauri around the track at the moment. He is definitely getting frustrated by this. He wants to get past as soon as possible, and look how close behind Ladamala is, even with those harder tyres. He's got to make sure he maximises his exit out of here, because he has to get past the Alpha Tauri to make sure he gets the gap that he needs in this race. He gets past fairly easily DRS pass on the straight. Now it's Ladamala's turn. Can he respond by getting past the Alpha Tauri as well? He's looking to the inside. Brakes late and he's passed. He's through. And that has saved him as much time as he could. 7/10 is now the gap. He's got to keep that within that 1 second range that he needs. Otherwise he will be letting Morgan run away with this race. Those hard tyres will not be as fast as those mediums on Morgan. Of course, come the end of the race, Morgan will be at more risk because of his... Oh, Kenny has no front wing. Is that a safety car? I can't tell. It's yellows all over. Everyone's slow. Is it VSC or normal safety car? It's full safety car. It hasn't come up on my screen, but the board says full course safety car. This is going to flip this race on its head. Does Polwy, I think he does, has the gap to pit and come back out in the lead of this race. Wow, and I assume he's probably going to go on to mediums to the end, if that's what Morgan's trying to do. So, yeah, wow. That's really thrown a spanner in the works, as Istro, of course, will pit too. Let's see what happens when they get to the end of the pit straight. Obviously, driving to that delta, they're going to be a lot slower. Are they going to get ahead of Polwy? They are. What? 17 seconds wasn't enough to make a stop under the safety car. You're kidding. Wow. But that's going to... this isn't going to be good for Ladamala on the restart. He's got two drivers behind him on those fresher medium tyres. Yeah, my game is glitched. I know my game. When is my game not glitched? Right? Well, it's F1 2020. When's it not glitched? But yeah. Luckily, I noticed that they were all going a bit slowly, and that there was a board that said safety car on it. So I'm assuming that was for Kenny that the safety car came out then. Wow. Everyone's taking this opportunity. They all want to go to the end of this race on medium tyres by the looks of it. Don't blame them, I would. Obviously, everyone's ERS reset, so they're all going to be back to 100% ERS. Everyone's tyres, with the exception of Morgan and Ladamala's out here at the front, are going to be fresh. Obviously, neither of those two drivers have particularly old tyres either, as they only put them on a few laps ago themselves. So what I'm going to just take this opportunity to do is just to have a quick look at the position change. So top three, same. Ishta up 1, Skolzy up 2, Will up 8, Swen up 3, Boomer up 6, Basket up 2, Rudy down 7, not a great start from him, obviously we saw what happened to him, RDO up 1, Pen up 7, Twanach up 2, Sarakaya down 4, Tambi down 10, Town is where he started, Joe is down 9, and Kenny is where he started. Twanach, 3 seconds, multiple warnings, and he's done that under the safety car. That's just a bit unnecessary, to be honest. Everyone but Wilt has made a stop in this race. Why did Wilt not use the safety car to make his stop? Very, very odd. But that's going to really be punishing for him, because he's got to make that stop. And everyone's going to pass him. And if we look at the tyre situation, he's on 13 lap olds hard, so he could have swapped onto the mediums and made it to the end. So I don't know what he's thinking, but if you look, Rudy and RDO both in 12 lap old hards, I'd use this opportunity to get rid of those as well, but they clearly haven't. As you see, Morgan in the lead on mediums, Ladamala right behind him on hards, Polhui, Ishtar and Skulzy all on mediums, whilst Wilt, Swen, Hyped, Boomer, Basket, Rudy and RDO as well as Pen are on hards, Twanach is on mediums, Sarakai is on hards, Tambi's on mediums, Town is on softs, Joe is on mediums and Kenny is on mediums. I think it's going to be close for Rudy and RDO. They've got to be careful for punctures come the end of this race, as safety car is in this lap, obviously, as everyone slows down. It's very early for the safety car to release the cars, to be honest. And, oh, looks like we've had a safety car glitch between Polhui and Ishtar. Polhui's going to be told to allow Ishtar through, and Skulzy takes this opportunity to come through as well. And he backs off. Didn't look too safe, to be honest. So yeah, basically there's a thing where if you overtake under the safety car, even if it's by action, oh, ignoring yellow flags, Ishtar, so he's got a penalty for that, and Polhui has a penalty as well for overtaking under the safety car. Basically there's a glitch where if you overtake under the safety car and then try and let someone back through, it will basically give that other person an illegal overtake, even though they were supposed to be ahead of you. But enough about that now. It's getting messy there. Morgan slows everyone down into the final corner. When's he going to decide to go? He can go any time between now and the line. Is he going to do it out the final corner, or is he going to back everyone up to the line? Just like Bottas back in Mugello. It's going to be out of the final corner, but this has given him a bad run. Ladamala with a much better run. It's already faster. He's tucked into the section. Looking to the inside into turn one. Who's going to be braking later? They've made contact and they're both off the track. Ladamala is round and into the gravel, and I'm going to put that one on Morgan, but it's allowed Ishtar. Ishtar is in the lead of this race. What is going on? As wow, Ladamala, he deserved way more room there, and he's down in P18 because he just wasn't given it by Morgan. So I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that one after the race. Morgan, I think, will probably be getting penalised for that. But Ishtar now has to defend from Morgan, Polhui and Skulzy, who's a long way back. Skulzy's 4 seconds back, so maybe he had to slow down for that Ladamala spin. As Hyped up into P5, as Kenny is getting lapped. So Hyped chasing down Skulzy as much as he can. Of course, Hyped on those hard tyres, probably a lot colder than those mediums and slower as well, so he's at a bit of a disadvantage here, but he is still managing to pull away from his teammate Wilt, who is yet to stop in this race. Hyped has been on those tyres for 7 laps. Crazy. Whereas Morgan's been on his for 4 laps. I don't think that's right, because they only pitted 1 lap apart. Interesting. Don't know what the game's doing here. Turn off safety car. No, don't do that. Safety cars, they're a part of racing. I know obviously in the game there's no real need for them, but they're a part of racing, and they make races more interesting, more dynamic. So there's definitely a place for them. And Ladamala has left the session. Is that a disconnect or a rage quit? He's done it in the pits, so I think it's a rage quit. But there is definitely a place for them in league racing, and I'm all for them, to be honest. I want them to stay. Let's focus back on what's going on at the front as Rudy gets past Basket and me. As RDO is looking for a move, and Basket and Mill in a very unusual place to make an overtake. He's down the inside. He pushes, leaves no room for the Red Bull driver. That slows him down. It leaves the Hasses swamping him down into here. Town gets past his teammate and the Red Bull up into P10 now on those soft tyres. He is flying. RDO with a 3-second time penalty. Tambi does need some points to defend this championship lead of his. But of course, P2 in the championship, Ladamala, is now out of the points and out of this race effectively. So I'm sure Tambi, any points Tambi can get here will be an absolute bonus. This midfield is getting crazy. as our leading few drivers are really miles ahead at this point. Not much can be done about that now. Yeah, Ladamala has been unlucky, especially this last year. Ever since Baku, he's just not had much luck, and it's really been strange to see, because he was so dominant for the first period where he was in the league, and then all of a sudden just a string of bad races and he's just not able to get it together. Morgan has made a move for the lead on Ishtar, a very weird place to do it, but this has allowed Polhui to get the momentum now. Ishtar looking to the outside of turn 12, I wouldn't do it there. Does tuck behind, will get DRS now on this straight, but he does have Polhui to contend with too. Is Polhui going to make it into second place? He thinks better of it. Morgan now really will have to try and push himself out of this DRS, otherwise he could find a Williams and a Racing Point coming back at him very soon. As RDO I think has spun. No, he's lost a lot of positions though. I don't know what happened there with him, but it's not good. And Ishtar's really struggling to stay in that DRS. I think Morgan has yeah, look, he's already outside that 1 second window. Obviously, he doesn't even get. Ishtar doesn't even get DRS down here. That's strange because the detection point is. He might have been over a second behind into the speed trap, but that's his Polhui up into second place now. He can push on, try and limit the gap that Morgan can pull, because of. I think Morgan has obviously got penalties for track limit, and I think is very likely to get a further penalty for that Ladamala incident. So Polhui's going to want to stay as close as he possibly can to that McLaren. Wow, Town and Rudy going side by side through a place you don't often see, and switching places all over the place. Hype just left the session, and Town is running to the back of Rudy. Damage. That's not what he wants. He's obviously the pack is still all bunched up and everything, so that won't help him at all. Morgan! What's happened to Morgan? He spun! Morgan spun at the exit of turn 15! He's got damage! Oh no! He's dropping down the field so fast! This has promoted Polhui into the lead of this race! And I think he's blocked the Hasses there, kinda. Of course, Town also has damage, so he'll be pitting too. But wow, he's bottled it, absolutely bottled it. There's Morgan, VSC. Oh, Morgan retired. What? Morgan has retired. So our two leaders in this race have both retired from the race in the matter of a few laps. What is going on? VSC. If there was, I missed it. But thank you for telling me. What is even going on? This race has been flipped on its head in a crazy short amount of time. Wow. Unbelievable. Karma. Definitely karma. But an absolute bottle there from the McLaren driver who dominated in the last race. So yeah, Polhui, who would have thought it? Polhui is leading this race. No offence to Polhui, but it's not something we see very often, and Ishtar is right on his tail. Obviously I think Ishtar has more penalties at this point, so he'll have to be careful of that one. Sculzy, of course, P3 on the podium, and this I'm sure will be enough incentive for Hype to push as hard as he can towards the end of this race to try and get a podium, which I'm sure he wasn't expecting early on in this race with all the disconnects and the poor starting position. So yeah, he's really his time to get on with it if he wants to make anything out of this race. Unbelievable scenes here. And Twanach moves himself up into P7 and he's pushed Basket and Mill off. Basket and Mill he's not having a great race. Every time I see him, he's getting a penalty. He's in some kind of contact. He's getting pushed off the track. It's been a day to forget so far for Basket Emil's the first race I've seen him race in this league, as far as I'm aware. So I'm sure he would have hoped for better today, but always more to come. I'm sure he'll get another chance at it. We do, of course, have 2 more races left of the season after this one, so he always has another chance, I'm sure. Now let's see. Kenny with 3 seconds, doesn't matter. That man is well over a lap down now. And Ladamala, who I'm sure won't be classified, is P17. So anyone who predicted 3 DNFs at this point in the race, it's looking good. Really no one able to make much of an impression on the car ahead at this point in the race. They're just kind of following each other. They're not able to drop the car behind because of the DRS. They're not able to catch the car ahead because they don't have DRS. So it's really just a bit of a stalemate at this point in the race. But someone who is close is Joe. Joe's very close to the back of Tamby now. So Tamby hasn't really gotten on with it as much as he would have liked after his incident earlier. P13 is the best he's doing at the moment. He's got Joe all over the back of him on fresher, softer tyres. Town, of course, on very fresh, soft tyres, right behind the pair of them. Of course, this is for P13, so it's for pride more than anything, because this will get no points. But I'm sure they'll fight for it as hard as if it was the win, because they don't want to lose out P13. Of course, lap 22, anything can still happen. We could have a huge crash. 4 or 5 cars could retire and these guys could be fighting for points. So it's still all to play for, of course, with what is 8 laps left in this race. Okay, onto the main straight now. Half a second is the gap, but is it going to be enough? No overtake usage there from Joe, so he's conserving it. Maybe for this straight. Let's see, does he use it? No, he does now. Very late usage. Of course, you want to try and use your overtake mode in the lower gears. That's where it's more effective, without obviously using it in a gear like first or second, because, you know, you know, if you're using it in first, second gear where you don't have much traction, you're gonna end up spinning, which is, of course, is just as bad. Very dark here now in Australia. I said that there was not very much chance of rain, but the sky at the moment is telling me different. Can we maybe get some rain for the last 2-3 laps? Definitely a possibility. It would be very interesting to see how the drivers deal with that greasy track that comes from rain. Actually, let's see. Yeah, this is what I was talking about before, just this DRS training that they're going to get. They just sat right on the gearbox of the car ahead. They can't really catch because the car ahead is probably a bit faster and has clean air, doesn't have the dirty air coming off the back of another car, and they can't really overtake because of that exact fact. You know, it's all dirty air, which is what they struggle with in real life. But you know, it is what it is. I know that Codemasters are trying to replicate the real life, so stuff like dirty air is, of course, important, and it adds more strategy to racing. So it's welcome, but you can't really. Yeah, we're still going, DK Gamer. Lap 23 or 29 at the moment. We did have a couple of issues with the lobby, which is why we're still going. But yeah, as I said, it's just clean air, please. Yeah, you just want clean air. That's all you want, because that's when you find rain. The rain has started falling here in Australia. 2022 cars will be slower by about 2 seconds a lap, as just about everyone gets a penalty through that corner. But they will have cleaner air, less dirty air, so it'll be easier to follow another car. You know, it'll make overtaking a lot more viable, a lot easier to do, because obviously you're not losing all that time through the corners. Because especially fast corners, tracks with a lot of fast corners are the hardest to overtake at, because it's so hard to stay close to the back of the next car through those corners. As Sven moves himself into the points as the rain starts falling, but Ardio's not going to give it up that easily. He's still fighting it, and he's no use of that really. Sven is clean ahead and up into P10 in this race. Let's see, what is Town able to do? Nothing this time around. Only a few opportunities left in this race to do that, as Sarakaya pits again, probably to DNF. So yeah, 2022 cars will be a lot better. It'll create a lot better, much better racing, because they can follow cars a lot easier over the course of laps. Than when they do get to the straights, they're not as far back, so they can overtake. And the cost for that really is the fact they're going to be a couple seconds slower a lap, and I think we can all agree that's a trade we'll take. You know, I'm not complaining personally, so yeah. This is of course the closest battle on track right now, so we're going to keep with it, even if it is only for minor positions worth no points. But Sven gets... oh, Penn is pitting. I wonder what's making Penn pit. Very interesting. It's getting interesting at the end, lads. Let's see what happens. Okay. It did look like it took a while to open his DRS there. Don't know if he was confused because it was raining. Maybe he thought he couldn't use it. But he did in the end. He worked it out. And this battle here is starting to drop off the back of Tamby. Tamby, who is catching a wilt. So maybe something's still on for these guys at this point. I doubt it. It's not hugely likely, but it can happen. You never know. Another couple of people's tyres to die, like RDO. Of course, he's been on his tyres a while. His tyres die. He'll have to drop back. That's another position. And all of a sudden, they could be having a look at points. So really, keep fighting. See what happens towards the end. It's really what they've got to do here, even if what they're fighting for right now isn't what they were hoping for. Look how hard that rain is coming down now. This is going to be seriously tricky for these drivers. They're going to have to keep it on the road. We could have yet another upset in this race. Hyped has pitted, Rudy has pitted, Twanach has pitted, and I think this is going to be for Inters for the last 3 laps of this race. Twanach penalty, speeding in the pits. They think that if they go onto those Inters, they can make back up the time that they lose through pitting by having the correct tyre for the conditions. Let's see if they're right come the end of this race, and everyone is pitting. Oh, big moment there for Town as he carries on. Town is carrying on as Joe and Tamby both decide to pit. Now, if this works out for Town, if he is able to defend from the guys behind him on the Inters, this will be an absolute master plan to gain him points. DRS is now disabled. That does mean that the intermediate tyres are the correct for the conditions. Who would have predicted, looking at that sky at the beginning of this race, who would have predicted rain to happen right at the end here? But it has, and it is making things spicy. So let's see just how bad those slick tyres are going to be. It looks like Town here is losing a lot of time to the cars behind, and those that have stayed out, I'm thinking Basket. Look how slow Basket's going. Being caught very rapidly by Hyped. Boomer on dries as well. Skolzy is pitting now, as is Ishtar and Polwy, but they're going to lose so much time because of how long it took them to pit. Let's see what this means for Hyped. Hyped could be much closer to this lead fight than he was 2 laps ago, because he chose to pit at the perfect time. Look at that. Basket has lost the position to Hyped, and he's now going to have to pit because of it. Let's see what Hyped is able to do. He's coming down the straight. Polwy exiting the pit lane now. Hyped just moves himself up into P2 in this race. What? And of course, Wilt was retired. Oh, not good for Renault. On track, Wilt was retired on track. Is this going to cause some kind of a safety car? I don't think we're going to be able to see because Ladamala's ghosted car isn't going to get there quick enough. It looks like he's dropped it on the exit of turn 13, of course the chicane. So my guess is that he's hit the outside curb. Where it's so slippery, his car's just turned and he's ended up on the wall on the right side. Very easy to do even in the dry, so it's understandable that it's happened in these conditions. You can see his car there facing the wrong way. I think it's almost exactly what I thought. But here we go, the battle for the lead. Gap between the two leaders. Can't see it right now because it's glitched, but I'm sure it's close. You can see it's close. 2 laps to go in this race. What's gonna happen? He's brave. Madness. No, not with 3 laps to go. Yeah, the rain came down a lot quicker here than it normally would at most tracks, so maybe the drainage here isn't so good. We've had another spin. It's the yellows for, of course, Kenny allowing himself to be lapped 3 minutes off the lead at the moment. Yeah, crazy stuff here at the end of this race. Okay, 7 tenths. We finally have confirmation on that gap, and I think Hyped is the faster car here. You can see it visually, that gap is coming down. I'm sure Polby will blame pad traction, probably, but I don't know what inputs both of these guys use. I think Polby's on wheel, and I think Hyped is on pad. So I think Polby is going to start blaming pad traction here. But I'm not a prophet. If everyone sees that in the chat afterwards, just know I said it first. So they're going to have to negotiate the lapped car of Sarakaya, who is not wanting to get out of the way. Blue flags will be waving, and he's received 3 seconds for that. He just needs to get out of the way, I think. This isn't his fight. As much as he might want it to be, it's not his fight. So let's see. He's dropped it. That's not great. Okay, coming on to the final lap now. I'm not checking penalties. I don't care who asks. I'm not checking. Town is retired. Yellow flag. Sarakai is retired. Is this a VSC? No? Are you kidding? What? Okay, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boomer retired. And Hyped gets 3 seconds at the last lap of this race. Oh my god, I'm not checking penalties. I don't want to know. I want to get the surprise when they cross the line. But that might have just changed the result of this race. Look how many cars are now out. 1, 2, 3, 6 cars retired. If anyone predicted 6 cars retired, A, you're crazy, and B, you're right at the moment. These wet conditions have thrown everything out the window. Something like this happened to me in Zandvoort, and DK has got a penalty. Wow. How close are they going to be in the cross line? Half a second now. Is half a second enough for a lunge come the end of the lap? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, as I said earlier, Tambi and all that, they were fighting over what was P12, 13. But look, Tambi is now P9 in this race. It just shows that you should never give up. Honestly, I know it's cringy and it's a bit of an overused phrase, but it's been proven here today as Polby comes across the line, P1. Hyped wins the race on penalties. Skolzy comes P2, demoting Polby to P3 in this race. Any more? Ish to P4. Wow. Incredible battle. Rudy will come home P5. Twanach is going to look like he's coming for a pretty comfortable P6 in my opinion. as Joe gets past Penn for P10, but it's not. It's still fighting. It's P6 for Twilight, P7 for Basket. But what's his penalties going to do? Is Ardio's right behind him. Ardio P7, P8 for Basket. Tambi is going to cross the line in P9. P7. Tambi gets P7, and that is incredible number of points. As Joe, I think they've touched. Penn and Joe have touched, and that has cost them positions, allowing Swen to come home. Oh, what is going on? As that has allowed Swen to come home for 1 point in 10th place. Joe is P12 after all of that. After making a move for the lead in the final lap, he's had to come home P12 with Penn P11. Ladamala, we're waiting for him to twist the light. Oh, Kenny, stop doing donuts. Stop. Stop it. Yeah, he's crossed the line. Okay, and that's it for our drivers here in this race. What a win. It's been coming for such a long time. He's been in the position so many times this season, but unable to capitalise, either due to incidents, either due to connection, or any of that kinds of stuff. But today it is hyped Skulls who has won this race here in Australia. Incredible performance, to be honest. Just the strategy played out perfectly for him. He chose to come onto those tyres at the right time, and it worked out. He gained so much time on that 1-2 lap gap between him pitting and everyone else pitting, and he played the rain to perfection, and that's what got him the win here today. Well done to him. He's deserved it. It's been a long time coming, as I've said. And it's probably going to help him a lot in this championship. Skulsy with no penalties, very impressive. Rudy also with no penalties, very impressive. And that's what got them into those high positions today. Wow, what a race! And Tambi, of course, will extend his lead in the championship with a 4-stop strategy to bring him home in P7. If anyone needs to have a look at the incidents, warning removals, penalty removals, here they are. They're coming through very quickly because there's a lot of them. Screenshot it if you need to. Send it to the stewards. There you go. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there are fireworks going on outside. Pretty well timed with the end of this race. So, or they're too loud or something, because that wouldn't be great. Wow, what a race! What a race! After all the drama of the lobby being broken twice, I blue screened. That's why I had to restart the stream. There has been carnage all the way through the race, to be honest. There's been incidents between drivers that we really wouldn't expect it. Very unlucky race there from Ladamala. Morgan binning it on his own. Cost him the win of that one. And yeah, just every single time we thought we knew what was going to happen, something else happened. It just completely switched on us, twisted. Incredible. And to be honest, at no point in that race was I thinking that Hyped is going to win this because of his position. Obviously, hard tyres were not what he wanted to be on, but the conditions switching to wet just allowed him to let loose, and maybe he could have made a move on Polby at the end there. I didn't expect it, considering how hard it is to overtake in the wet conditions. Always has been hard to overtake in the wet conditions for obvious reasons. So yeah. Yeah, it's just the way it's played out today is probably one of my favourite races of the season. So I'm going to quickly check, because obviously we have had delays, so I'm not sure if Tier 2 is still going. I'm going to quickly check for you guys. No, Tier 2 have not. They're not still going, they've also ended, so I can't send you over this week, as I have done in previous weeks. So if that's the case, that's been it for me. Thank you all for coming along, and I would if you really want to see more action like this, I would love it if you could come and check out the Tier 3 stream on a Sunday, same time, 8 PM UK time. Sunday, that's when Tier 3 race. Obviously Tier 2 happens simultaneously with Tier 1, so you've got to choose between them or flick between both if you can. As I'm sure Logie Bear does, I've seen him comment in both streams quite often. And the sprint league, which is coming to an end, I don't think it's finished yet. It's coming to an end, is happening on a Tuesday at 8 PM UK time. So if you're at all interested in any of that stuff, I would advise you to go check that out. Of course, subscribe to the ALR channel, leave a like on this stream because you liked it, why wouldn't you? And if you want to hear more from me, it will be same time next week for what is the penultimate round in the season, the Mexican Grand Prix. So should be a lot easier to overtake there. Definitely potential for a big turn one kerfuffle, but we're looking forward to it. I personally, well, Mexico's not my favourite track. It's one of the tracks I'm fastest at for some reason, but I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the last two races this season because Mexico's going to be a good one, and as you know, Brazil, always a top tier race, always, and that is the last race of the season after Mexico. So, mate, definitely tune into that one. If you don't, fake fan, you've got to. It's so necessary because if we were to miss that one, you'd be missing a climax which was probably going to be quite exciting, because I can imagine after this Tambi's going to be a bit nervous because Ladamala is going to be pushing as hard as he can to get that title. Obviously Ladamala didn't even start the season, so if he can get anywhere close, I'm sure he will be proud of himself. But I'm going to stop rambling now. I think I've chatted waffle for long enough. So I'm going to leave you all there for today. So thank you all for coming along once again. That's been it from me, and goodbye.